Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Gruver and Terrie Huberman.
Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of Intentional Awakening Podcast. I'm Terrie Huberman.
And I am your co-host, Kathy Gruver, and we will start this episode as we do every episode with an angel card. And the angel card for today is acceptance.
Ooh.
Acceptance. Let the mist of unworthiness evaporate, move forward, and embrace life as it presents itself to you. Practice the art of inclusion and allowing.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah. Should we talk about acceptance today?
I mean, we could. You know me. I'm going to talk about anything and everying. So maybe we
That's
should
true. So let's talk.
Yeah,
we'll do boundary. We'll go alphabetically. So let's talk about acceptance. So Eckhart Tolle talks about accepting the isness of the moment, and that much of our suffering and stress and unhappiness comes from not accepting the isness of the moment.
Yeah.
And not, look, we've talked about this. You have to accept something before you can change it.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to acknowledge it, then you have to accept it, and then you can take action. Because if I'm walking around with a rock in my shoe and I'm uncomfortable and I'm like denying there's no rock, I'm never going to stop and take it out, right? I have to accept that there's something happening first.
Yeah.
Or else you can't make any changes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get tripped up in the fact that if they accept something, they have to like it. And you don't have to like something just because you're accepting it.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about isness. It's like the reality of the now moment.
Right. And you can fight against it.
Sure.
But this is a pen. I can't make it anything else.
Yeah.
I can call it a car, I can call it a cat, and I can pet, but that's not what it is.
Right.
And I think also people get tripped up in saying, but I want to change things. Just because you want to change it, just because we want to lose 5 more pounds, or we want to get a different degree, or we want to change jobs, or we want to improve our relationship, just because you accept something as it is right now doesn't mean you still can't work to make it better.
Sure. There's always room for improvement. Always room for improvement. And when you have this, actually, the way energy works is that it's always moving. So you can't possibly stay. So just because you accept anything or everything in a particular now moment doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. But what acceptance does do is it allows you to make a choice. And so it puts you into your PowerPoint or a PowerPoint, not the Microsoft PowerPoint, but a point of power where if you're making a choice, you don't have to press play. But I'm just saying, if you're making a choice, that is a level of acceptance because that whatever is happening in that now moment, you have an awareness of, which is consciousness.
Right. So here's the question, though, because I've had clients sitting in my office and I say, you have to accept the isness of the moment. And they say, yeah, but how?
Yeah.
And my answer is often, well, you just have to accept it. And that doesn't work. Either you know how to or not, right? So what are some tools or tips or tricks that we can give our listeners and our viewers to help accept the isness of the moment?
Well, one of the things that I do with my clients that I do with myself, and it is, for me, it's like, it was life-changing. And so I thought I wanted to share it with my clients and they were like, this is great. So we have to understand that there are different levels of truth. Doesn't mean one level of truth is better than the other. They can all exist at the same time. Here's an example. Kathy, you live in Santa Barbara, which is in the state of California, which is in the country of the United States, which is on planet Earth. Each one of those are a level of truth, right? So what I tell myself and my clients to do is to and situations. So for example, you could be hungry, like your body can be physically hungry, and you could also live on planet Earth. So both of those things can exist at the same time, They're both different levels of truth,
Hmm.
and you're anding them. Do you
Right.
have to like the fact that you're hungry? No. Do you have to like the fact that you live in the United States? No. Right? But the thing is that they're both levels of truth. And
Yes.
so when you and them, when you and life, it helps you accept it.
That's cool.
So you can be angry. I was telling this to my 10-year-old niece the other day. I pissed her off. She has a tendency to not share why she's mad at somebody. And I've
Mm.
told her a million times, Auntie needs to know why so she can apologize and not do it again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, right? So she's learning, she's a kid. So yesterday I said, "Hey, do you want to go to the dollar store with me?" Because I know she loves to go to the dollar store. And she said, "Okay." So we're walking to the car, and I said, "You can go to the dollar store with me and you can still be upset with me, right?" She goes, "Yeah, but the only reason why I'm going is because it's the dollar store." It's like, that's okay. So she was still upset at me, and she went to the dollar
Yeah.
store with me. So she actually anded that circumstance or that
Yeah.
situation.
I say that all the time to my clients. They're like, I hate my father for what he did to me when I was a kid, but he's my dad. I love him. And
Yeah,
it's like two things can be true at the same
at the
time.
same time. And that's the thing. I think people, it's just, I think it's just the matrix. Honestly, I think it's just the way everything is we have tendencies to or life. It has to be this way or this way
Right.
to give us a sense of control, right? It has to be this way or this way so I know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and how I'm going to do it.
Yep.
But when you juggle, you can do more than one thing at the same time, and both can be true.
Yeah.
So you're not being invalidated.
Right. Yes, that's true. Oh, and validation, we need more of that.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this in terms of us versus them. So
sure.
the second TEDx talk I did was us versus them. And I said, the us versus them depends simply on how you categorize it. And there was probably 150 people in the room. And I said, if I decide right now we're going to play a giant game of dodgeball, and I split it up by men versus women, we've got an us versus them.
Sure.
But then when I say, oh, no, no, actually, let's do it. We're going to do brown eyes versus any other color eyes. Suddenly, people that were standing next to you a second ago as a woman are now on the other side because they have a different eye color. So it's a different us versus them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and we are so locked into this, I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
when?
Yeah,
And that has that acceptance too. It's like
sure.
depending on the parameters set, categories completely shift and change.
Yeah.
So there's that
And
acceptance in
that
that as well.
well, I think a lot of that has to do with preference, but also perspective. And each one of us were raised differently. How were we raised? Right? So the way you were raised was different than the way I was raised. So you're going to have different biases than I do. So there are natural biases it's part of the human blueprint.
Yep.
We can't and will never escape that. But can we and it? Can we say, okay,
Mhm.
this is, these are the parts of me that I either like or don't like. And does that mean that there's room for change, or is there room for more, or should I actually just stop? Right?
Right.
So if I feel m- the success of allowing life to happen is in acceptance for sure,
Mm.
because there's a lot less suffering, and the suffering comes from the judgment that we put on it. So if we're allowing a circumstance to happen, or a situation or conversation, or even just being around somebody that we can't stand, we're anding that situation.
Mhm.
We're saying, I have my own opinions, I know where I stand, and that person standing in front of me also has their opinions and their whatever. And I'm not going to judge whether I'm less than or more than them. They can have their own opinion because that's their level of truth, which is a level of truth.
Yeah.
So it can go, this is where spirituality comes in,
Mhm.
because it goes very deep. It's not surface level
Yep.
stuff. It starts out surface level when we have awakening.
Yes.
It starts off with just, what can I see, smell, taste, touch, think, hear, right? The physical senses of our humanity. But then it goes deeper. There's knowingness. Like, I know that person doesn't hate me per se just because they have an opinion.
Yeah.
They're allowed to have their opinion.
Yeah.
But how they are with me is very different, for example, if
Right.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. Well, and the other thing that struck me as you were talking was the lessons, right? Theoretically, and I believe this very strongly, that we chose our lifetime, that we chose our family, that we chose our soul family, that we chose the lessons that we're going to be given in this lifetime. So sometimes the shit that happens is for our higher good and for the lesson that we are supposed to learn.
Right.
And if we're fighting against that, you're not doing your homework, you're not showing up for the test, you're not doing the quizzes, you're going to fail that class.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to repeat it over summer school. And no one wants to do that. So do the lesson, the cosmic lesson for all of us and all of our individual little lessons that we signed up for. Sometimes they suck.
Yeah. A lot of times.
A lot of times they suck. And those tend to be the most important lessons. So if we're in acceptance of that thing, that event, that occasion, that human that's in front of us, then we're going to learn the lesson quicker and we're going to move past that, at least for right now.
Correct.
Into more joy, more abundance, more happiness, more peace, less suffering. So acceptance helps us move forward on this path.
Yeah. It's a lot easier way to live. Your body will feel way less tense. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So much. So
it's
much.
a serenity prayer over and over.
I was
and
just
over
going to
again.
say that. And which I always screw up. So if you know it by heart, feel free
I
to
do not know it by heart. I just know grant me the wisdom and the whatever. Just God give it to me.
Accept
Give me
the
peace.
things I can control, let the things go I can't control, and the wisdom to know the difference.
The wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah, we butchered it, but you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I think this was fabulous. Let's make this short, sweet, to the point. I'm Kathy Gruver. I could be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Terrie Huberman. You can find me at terriehuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast.
See you next time.